So I wanted to make this YouTube posting and post it. I didn't ever think there was a day that you would become victim over and over in society. I was a rape victim in Reynoldsburg, Ohio. The hotel in which I stayed at, I was drugged. The cop that worked my case, he worked all my cases dealing with Reynoldsburg Police Department. Reynoldsburg Police Department is by far the worst department beside Grove City Police Department. Grove City and Reynoldsburg Police Department was taking kickbacks from hotels that was involved in human trafficking cases. I was so mentally messed up after this case that, along with another case that they had handled, that I went back to try to get answers. And that's what most rape victims and people who's been traumatized by Reynoldsburg Police Department and other police departments because of what they have done, that's what I did to move forward with my life. During the time I realized that I was told that Reynoldsburg was getting kickbacks, and they did indeed know about the sex trafficking, and they covered it up. I thought I was living a nightmare. I thought I was going through hell. It's like, who would do that? Who would do something so horrible and not even tell anybody? So during this time, I decided to visit the places in which Reynoldsburg and Grove City was a part of. I rented out hotels. Yeah. I put myself through what normal people probably would never put themselves through, but I did. And during my time and my stay there, I've seen so many women trafficked through Red Roof Inn in Grove City, through Motel 6, Studio 6. My mind, I go blank because when you're so traumatized, you can't think, your body shuts down. And for this fucking police station to put me through what they've put me through is horrible. I've seen black women, so many of them, trafficking through other black men who sick me. And they did it in the open, and nobody was saying anything. There was this shop that was right off of Bryce Road. It was a repair shop. It's set beside a body shop. That's where they were coming. Most of them were in their little bags, and they would come up off the freeway. And there was a couple white women, I ain't gonna lie, that was involved in the sex trafficking. And you would see them coming up off the freeway, coming from that body shop and repair shop. It was horrible. And you could hear them yell and scream at the women. You could hear them beat the women. I did this. And I remember texting my friend who was a Columbus PD officer and said, I know some information about the sex trafficking thing. I called our Mayor Ginther. I text other government officials screaming and begging for help on sex trafficking. There was a bank that was funding it. It's called HSBC Bank. They were also giving money to government officials in Franklin County as well to keep their mouths shut, to turn the other way. And for their funding, they was to let violent offenders out, kickbacks, pay to play. This bank was part of the cartel, mafia, you name it. They had their hands into everything. They were one of the largest banks that was out there. But they owned certain judges in Franklin County system. went after white cops. They went out the good people. They wanted to go after. They only put their hands in dirt soil that they knew they could buy judges, buy prosecutors. So they were stealing people's kids off the street and selling them. It was this bank. This bank also funded Black Lives That Matter. That's who I lived with. That's who I ended up in a house with. God puts you in places. Don't ever forget that. If you read the Bible, God puts you in places to help other people. The things that these people did to me was horrible. Reynoldsburg PD knew that they were abusing me. The guy would hit on me. The girl, she weighed 300 fucking pounds. I put stuff against my door to barricade myself. But yeah, I wanted the information so I could put them away, so they couldn't hurt anybody else. So I knew one word that could absolutely put them away, because they hated cops. They hated white people that was related to cops. They hated white cops and government officials. The word nigger I used. They didn't know anything about my past. They didn't know what I did. They didn't know that my daughter dates a black guy. My godchildren are mixed. They didn't know I slept with a mixed guy. They didn't know any of it. So I used it, and I tape recorded them. I gathered information against them. They were getting money put into their account, and I used it against them. And you know something? It happened to be the only word that they didn't like, that they snapped. They lied on police reports. Reynoldsburg, they just took the phone calls. The phone calls they took. Not in person, but the phone calls. And they made false statements. And I have proof. She was recorded. She was documented. All of it. So one day I got in my car after receiving death threats from these people. And I almost wrecked and killed myself. Because they vandalized my vehicle. I was on my way to go to court. The judge issued warrants out for me. She didn't care because I was a white woman with white cops as family members. And she didn't know any of this. She didn't know that Reynoldsburg had hidden information, that they were getting kickbacks off of sex trafficking, that they lied to me when I was raped and drugged at one of those hotels, that they did all this stuff to me, and they told this girl information and fueled it, and they were taking the reports. She didn't know that they destroyed a computer to keep a guy out of prison who did the worst thing you could have ever imagined to somebody's child. They destroyed it where he could get life in prison. This is Reynoldsburg Police Department. They did some horrible things, and they got paid to do it. They had terrorist cells in their backyard. They didn't do anything about it. Matter of fact, there was a kid that got shot. They didn't do anything about it. Enough's enough. And to make a woman relive all those horrible things, you have to really hate her. You must be really fucked up in the head. And to keep going after her, you must be really sick. So she must know something. You destroyed so many vehicles and you keep going after her. Because it's all documented. Everything. Everything. And what do you have? Just your word. So how does it feel to know that local law enforcement was getting paid while other people were snatching kids off the street and selling them? And to know a woman fought for white officers and cops and the good ones, and they tried to victimize, they did victimize her, and they went after her, and a dirty ass judge tried to make an example of her because she was part of Black Lives Matter. How do you think other people feel? Even if that was your kid? Think about that. They were paying these cops and judges to let violent offenders out. It's all documented. HSBC, look it up. I wouldn't lie. Look up Reynoldsburg PD. Sex trafficking federal court documents are online. Look it up. These are the people that you need to go after, not the cops that serve and protect every day. These are the people that we need to weed out of our system. These are the people that have caused our society nothing but pain. Dirty judges that know a woman had just wrecked her vehicle, that she's been a victim, but yet issues warrants out for her arrest. Dirty judges that let off violent offenders, 3,000 of them, for HSBC. Dirty cops like Reynoldsburg PD. Think about it. Think about how you would feel if you knew you were raped and you had to relive all that. And they knew. And then they threatened you.